The second the projector flickered on, Leslie's face went white. She knew she was busted, and everyone in that boardroom was about to see exactly why. I've worked in real estate my whole adult life, 40 years of deals, paperwork, and the occasional backstab. I'm not usually one for drama, but in this office, you learn to keep receipts. Leslie, my so-called teammate, had a habit of taking shortcuts and taking credit. Normally, I'd ignore it, but when my own numbers started slipping because someone was messing with my work, that's when I decided enough was enough. Last quarter, 3 of my client presentations in a row got lost or sabotaged. Files went missing, slides got swapped, numbers didn't add up. The first time, I blamed myself. The second time, I started watching Leslie. She was always around after hours, always helping with my files. But when the third presentation was trashed, I knew it wasn't bad luck. Here's what happened. I was prepping a huge property portfolio pitch for some big investors. If we landed it, everyone would get a fat commission. I put in weekends, double-checked everything, made sure it was airtight. The morning of the pitch, I opened my file from the shared drive, and half my charts were gone. Slides were replaced with gibberish. Luckily, I'd saved a backup on my own drive, but the version everyone else would see was a mess. This was the second time in a month. I started to suspect Leslie. Leslie loved collaboration, which really meant hovering over my shoulder and slipping her name on my work. She was great at office politics, always sucking up to the boss, but actual work? Not so much. The last time my presentation got ruined, she was the only one with after-hours access to the shared drive. That couldn't be a coincidence. I tried to talk to her, just to see her reaction. Hey, you notice anything weird with our files? She played dumb. I brought it up to our manager, but got a lecture about teamwork. I realized I'd have to catch her in the act. So I set a trap. For my next big presentation, I made 2 copies, one on the shared drive, the bait, and a clean one on my USB. The bait file looked real, but I left in a few obvious mistakes, wrong square footage, misspelled street names, stuff I'd never miss. And at the bottom of a slide, I wrote, Leslie, if you're reading this, smile for the camera. Maybe a little much, but I wanted to see if she'd notice. Then I went to IT. I asked if they could check who'd been editing my files. They were happy to help when I said someone might be tampering with client presentations. Turns out, they could track every login, every edit, down to the minute. All I had to do was wait. Sure enough, the next morning, the bait file had been fixed. All my planted mistakes were gone, and the formatting matched Leslie's style. The note to self. Deleted. She couldn't resist. IT checked the logs and there it was, Leslie's username, editing at 10:42 p.m. The office closes at 7. Guess she was working late, on my stuff. Presentation day. All the higher-ups were there, regional managers, a couple of VPs, the kind who only show up for free pastries. Leslie walked in, all smiles, and sat at the front. She'd already told people she helped with the deck. Typical. I loaded the shared drive version on the big screen. Remember, my real presentation was safe on my USB. We started, and I barely got past slide 3 before a VP frowned. Isn't this property on Maple, not Maplewood? Another exec said, these numbers don't add up. I acted confused, flipping through the mistake slides. Leslie started squirming. I let the tension build for a minute, then said, this is strange. These aren't my slides. Maybe there's been a mix-up. I asked IT, who I'd warned ahead of time, to pull up the version history on the big screen. Can we check who edited this last? I said, trying to keep a straight face. The IT guy brought it up, and there it was, Leslie's name, editing at 10:42 p.m. The room went dead silent. I turned to Leslie, who looked like she might faint, and asked, did you change anything? She stammered, denied it, said she only reviewed the file. IT scrolled through her edits, showing the corrections and the deleted note. The VPs just stared at her. I said, since there's been unauthorized editing, I brought my own copy, if that's okay. Plugged in my USB, brought up the real presentation. Flawless. I ran through the pitch, the investors loved it, and the execs looked relieved. After the meeting, Leslie tried to corner me. I told her straight up that if she touched my files again, I'd go straight to HR, with evidence. Later that week, she got called into a meeting with HR, IT, and our branch manager. She resigned 2 days later. Turns out, others had caught her messing with files before, but this was the first time it was proven in front of everyone. Management made a show of reviewing security, but nobody missed her. I might have gone a little overboard with the trap, but after 40 years of office politics, it felt pretty good to let someone else get caught red-handed. I went back to work, my reputation solid, and my files, finally, stayed untouched.